If you're like me and you've used a lot of Android devices, you might very well come to the conclusion that, well, unfortunately, they kind of suck. Not all of them. The Nexus and Pixel devices have always been pretty good. But if you look at something like a Samsung device, then you'll find that they're pretty awful, especially as compared to Linux phones. Heck, even iPhones are beating Android devices. So in today's video, I want to address why exactly that is, right now on the Linux Lounge. So my first reason as to why Android devices tend to suck is perhaps stating the obvious a little bit for my audience, but I do have to say it anyway. Most Android devices run junk, non-free software that disrespects the user, spies on them, and just all round mistreats them. Android devices are among the worst non-free devices out there too, given the fact that most of the software that comes bundled with them is software from Google, one of the worst tech companies out there. Perhaps as a consequence of this non-freeness, Android devices are also highly bloated. They come with so much junk that you just don't need that only serves to spy on you and clog up your device. Nobody wants that, so why do OEMs still bundle this stuff with their devices? But now I think we need to talk about what the worst problem with Android is, and that problem is that Android, despite using the Linux kernel, doesn't let Linux do its job. Most Linux devices use the mainline Linux kernel with drivers that are baked right into the kernel. As a result, it's usually possible to stay up to date and secure no matter what device you're on. Android doesn't work that way. Most Android devices will never have a kernel update. In addition, most Android devices use junk, non-free binary blobs for drivers, which ultimately restricts the user's freedoms and is generally a pain. Following on from the issue of Android devices not letting Linux do its job, I have another complaint. Android has a really stupid system for updates. Android devices are completely dependent on the OEMs updating their devices, which invariably they never do. As a result, the end user is usually left with a device running out-of-date software with no security updates or anything like that. Comparing that to Linux phones that receive package updates like any other Linux distribution, or even iPhones which can be supported for as long as 7 years, it's clear to see why the way that Android devices receive updates is not acceptable. In fact, I've even seen some Android devices ship with old versions of Android right at the factory. That, in my view, is completely unacceptable. And my final complaint that I have with Android is kind of a superficial one, but it is a reason why I think that Android kind of sucks, and that is that Android is just unpolished. When I'm running a Linux system, whether that be on mobile or desktop, everything feels well integrated as far as the user interface is concerned. Most of my apps are themed exactly the same, and everything looks like it belongs to one coherent system. This is primarily because most Linux applications use the same UI toolkit. For instance, most of my favourite applications use GTK. On Android, and most other operating systems for that matter, it's a total free-for-all. Some apps use Material Design, but others just opt for their own thing, which creates an incoherent system which would frustrate anyone used to a clean and well-integrated Linux desktop. Now I know that this is a problem on iOS and some Linux phones too, but I think that it's less severe there. So in conclusion, that's my rant about why I feel that Android devices kind of suck. Now, I'm not saying don't use Android. I'm sure for a lot of people it's absolutely fine, and I understand that Android does have its strengths. But I'm also saying that if you're a Linux user, which you probably are if you watch this channel, you should probably see if a Linux phone can meet your needs, because frankly you're going to have a much better experience with one. And to be honest, I'd even prefer to use an iPhone over an Android device. That's how much I personally dislike Android. But with that said, that's it for today's video. You're always free to leave your opinions in the comment section below. I thank you for watching this video and I will see you in the next one.